that help? Not yet, not yet. I know. Technology, right? I have to use there we go. I have to use my preacher voice. I'm Pastor Chris Hackbart, and I'm glad to be here with you again on Annual Conference Sunday. Lots going on at Annual Conference. You'll find out more about that in the sermon. Looking at your announcements, Vacation Bible School is coming up in a week. So check with Jody to see where you can help, or if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, and nephews that can come, let's get them signed up. Vacation Bible School is always a blessing every summer. Okay, so there's a list going around for food for Vacation Bible School. Awesome. If you are able to help, thank you very much. If you are not, thank you very much for prayer help. Next Sunday, June 21st, is Pastor Colleen's Farewell Sunday, so we will have church and lunch. And then, exciting, 2 weeks later, because I get to preach in between, you are welcoming Pastor Deb Rippey on July 5th. So I invite you to come and be part of that. Other things you can find in the bulletin and ask the people who know, because I'm just a visitor. All right. Let us begin with our worship. I invite you to stand and we'll sing together the summons, which is in the little hymnal. Begin our worship with the call to worship. God meets us in surprising yet ordinary places. under a tree in the smile of a stranger, in a refreshing breeze that comes just at the right time. God, open our hearts to notice your presence all around us. God speaks to us in surprising yet ordinary ways, in a well-placed word from a friend, in a prayer that comes at just the right time, in a song that resonates through our entire being. God, open our minds to recognize your voice all around us. God fulfills God's promises in surprising yet ordinary ways, in an unexpected act of kindness, in providing just what we need at just the right time, and in sending someone to listen when we feel alone. God, open our hands to receive blessings all around us. Beloved, in the surprising and ordinary ways that God shows up among us, may we meet God and our neighbors with open hearts, minds, and hands, ready to encounter God's miraculous work. God, open our lives to receive your blessings, that we may share together in the joy and wonder and laughter of God's miraculous works all around us.
Please join me in our opening prayer. God, as you met Abraham in an ordinary moment of hospitality, meet us today in the ordinary moments of our lives. Open our minds to recognize your presence among us. Open our hearts to receive your promises. Open our arms to embrace your miraculous works with joy, wonder, and laughter. As we gather to worship, help us find the courage to hope, the wisdom to trust, and the perseverance to cooperate with you to fulfill our promises as you work for abundant life for all creation. Amen.
Our next song is 139 in the red hymnal, Praise to the Lord the Almighty. Do you guys usually get to sit for this? I don't want to sit, so you guys sit. Can you turn on the monitor on the balcony? You guys sit down and we'll stand up. That way I get to sit down. The peace of the Lord be with you. So with you. I invite you to listen to our Old Testament lesson from Genesis.
This reading comes from Genesis 18, 1 through 15. The Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre. As he sat at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day, he looked up and saw 3 men standing near him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent entrance to meet them and bowed down to the ground. He said, "My Lord, if I find favor with you, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought and wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree. Let me bring a little bread and you may refresh yourselves. And after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant." So they said, "Do as you have said." And Abraham hastened into the tent to Sarah and said, "Make ready quickly 3 measures of choice flour, knead it, and make cakes." Abraham ran to the herd and took a calf, tender and good, and made it to the servant who had hastened to prepare it. Then he took curds and the milk and the calf that he had prepared and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree while they ate. They said to him, "Where is your wife Sarah?" And he said, "There, in the tent." Then one said, "I will surely return to you in due season, and your wife Sarah shall have a son." And Sarah was listening at the tent entrance behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in age. It had ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, "After I have grown old and my husband is old, I shall be fruitful?" The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old?' Is anything too wonderful for the Lord? At the set time I will return to you in due season, and Sarah shall have a son." But Sarah denied, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. He said, "Yes, you did laugh. The Lord dealt with Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had promised." Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to his son, whom Sarah bore him. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And now Sarah said, "God has brought laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh with me." And she said, "Who would ever have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in this old age."
I invite you to stand for the reading of the gospel, as you are able. Our gospel reading comes from the 9th chapter of the Gospel according to St. Matthew. And then Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and curing every disease and every sickness. Now, when he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, and the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." And then Jesus summoned his 12 main disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to cure every disease and every sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who will also be known as Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus and Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanian, and Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions: Do not take a road leading to Gentiles, and do not enter a Samaritan town, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, proclaim the good news. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those with the skin disease, and cast out demons. You received without payment, give without payment. Take no gold or silver or copper in your belts, no bag for your journey, or 2 tunics or sandals or a staff, for laborers deserve their food. Whatever town or village you enter, find out who in it is worthy and stay there until you leave. As you enter the house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet and leave that house or town. Truly I tell you, it will be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. I am sending you out like sheep into the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of them, for they will hand you over to councils and flog you in their synagogues, and you will be dragged before governors and kings because of me, as a testimony to them and the Gentiles. When those wolves hand you over, do not worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you at that time. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Sibling will betray sibling to death, and a father his child. And children will rise against parents and have them put to death. And you will be hated by all because of my name. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in this town, flee to the next. For truly I tell you, you will not have finished going through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I invite you to be seated. All right, like I said, it is Annual Conference Sunday. Some of you know I spent 11 years preaching at Ruthven United Methodist Church, so I got to go to several annual conferences, even though I'm actually a Lutheran. But, you know, Methodists are welcoming, and that is something that we see a lot of at annual conference. So I wanted to tell you about annual conference in large part because our gospel reading is kind of what happens at conference. So I asked can we get it up on the screen? The best part of annual conference is happening right now. It is the final worship service. It is the worship service in which they recognize retirees. They consecrate, recognize, and ordain new clergy. And then they set appointments. So they send new clergy out to new churches. So this is our bishop, and she is preaching.